Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Harika. So today I'm really excited and I was looking forward to make this video since the time I finished and cleared my certification. So first of all, if you are someone who is aiming to clear the latest UiPath certification, which is UiPath Automation Developer Professional Certification, then this video is for you. So I have actually divided this video into three parts. Okay, so if you watch till the end, you will understand everything that you need to know in order to clear this particular certification. So what are those three parts that I have divided this video into is, so know before you actually appear for this exam, what you should know and what you should do and what you should not do and what perceptions you have to remove from your mind. So these are the most important things that I'm going to point here. And what are all the things that I'm pointing or from my own experiences and also from the experiences of the people who I interacted with. So these are very interesting and also very useful for everyone who are going to appear this exam path and how I have prepared for the exam and how I cracked the exam in my first attempt and what all the things that I have considered as useful for me to crack this exam because I believe most of you, like, at least 99% of you who are appearing this exam would be having a full-time job. So besides or alongside this full-time job, how you can give some time for, every day preparation in order to crack this exam, that also I'll help you with because this needs a little serious preparation. So this I will talk about in part 2. And I have finished my exam, what are the things that I felt that I would have involved this also, which would have helped me to perform even more better. Okay, that even that 1-2% of confusion I would have eliminated if I have added these points. So I think this last part will help you also to perform, like, if I'm performing 80%, that will help you to perform 90%. So that's in where I wanted to add up these things as well. So these are some things that I'm adding from my personal experience. So get into parts. So first of all, if I wanted to talk about the preparation, like what are the do's and the don'ts that you should consider before you actually appear for this exam. So I'll just tell you what are the things that you should follow, okay, as a part of your learning path. What are the things that you should follow and what are the things that you should completely eliminate from your perceptions. So the first thing, even though if I am guiding you or if some the guide for your exam throughout this process of preparation is UiPath Academy, because that's in where you'll get the whole knowledge particular examination. Okay, so if you see here, the UiPath Automation Developer Professional Certification, extensive hands-on experience with UiPath technologies such as Studio, Robots, and Orchestrator. That means this exam is not something that it off. This needs a hands-on experience. The questions that you are going to face in this particular exam will test you if you have a hands-on or not. It also clearly says that the ability to independently build or lead production level automations in RE framework. That means it traits on RE framework. And also your ability to drive the projects, to build the projects independently as a single person. And your project in Automation Studio, right, in UiPath Studio, the ability to push the project into production, right? So this tests you whether you have that particular knowledge or not. So here we involve a lot of things, right? In studios, how you will use RE framework. So these are all the things that they will actually test your practical utilization of all of these concepts, and you should have a good hands-on. Okay, that's what this particular exam is going to test you on. So there's a syllabus that they have in description document, you can find it here. Okay, so if you just go through the exam description document, so you can see all the topics that they are going to cover. This is your syllabus. Okay, so from this only you will get the question pretty much. Okay, so if you get your concepts clear on these topics, I will also going to talk about the don'ts that I wanted to clearly talk about and make topics. So if you see, the exam topics are advanced data manipulation, debugging, RE framework, orchestrator, testing, advanced topics in automation, and topics covered in Automation Developer Associate exam in more depth. That means if you see is the next level exam. So the first level is associate exam, right? So the associate exam on associate, they will ask you in depth, right? So only these topics you have to be clear on in order to crack the exam. So now you don't have to worry, you will learn this. I'll tell you the learning path, I'll tell you the easy way, I'll tell you some structured way how you can acquire the knowledge on all the concepts. You don't have to worry about it, but you have to get your fundamentals clear, that nothing they are going to ask outside of these topics. So first you have to list down these are the topics that you are going to step is online practice test. So this is the place where, so firstly, if you go to this particular link, this will help you to understand how the practice, This is not promising you that your exam questions or your exam topics or anything that you're getting in your actual test would be, similar. Test is only for getting you a familiarity. Like, okay, my exam is going to be this way. I'm going to get questions or drag and drop questions, something of that sort, right? So you should not be having a mindset that if you're getting any of that's not the mindset, that's not the agenda of this particular practice test. If anyone is telling you that if you can, you can go ahead for the exam, no, that's not the fact. That's not at all true. I wanted to emphasize a lot who are going to the exam just by clearing the practice test and they're failing in the actual exam. I don't also want you to read these guidelines. So if you go to the practice test, they clear alert. They mention the important alert here. They've clearly given you what. So this particular version of the studio will be 22.10. Robot Studio and Orchestrator will be 22.10. Right? Just aim is that if you once write the exam, the pattern will be like this. Questions pattern will be like this. First thing, to give the if you're not so much confident on the answer, you will be given an option to review. Okay, you can keep that questions in review. Pattern as in, if you say there are 60 questions, your actual exam also contains 60 questions, and the passing percentage is patterns that they actually made, but not the questions. There's no practice test that assures you that if you write a exam, doesn't mean that you will get 100% in your actual exam. No, that's not the point. And you can clearly see repeatedly taking a practice test until you achieve a high score does not ensure doing with the practice test, right? So if at all you're lacking something in a practice test, if you're failing at the link query topics in practice test, go revise the whole concept of link query, not and only that one particular question. Just go and revise the whole topic, whole concept analysis, and how you will fetch the data, how you will order, how you will sort, how you will group them. Try multiple things. That's what they are asking you, hands on. You're failing the exam, so you should have proper hands on the topics that they have mentioned. So that is one thing. And I'll also talk about the things that which about them, because if at all there are some topics that you cannot practice, like let's say Citrix, right? Citrix automation. If you cannot do remote debugging practically, how you can work on that particular topic, I'll also help you on that point. But yeah, on hands-on, doing hands-on on that particular thing. Okay, so this is the one of the most important practice tests. It doesn't ensure you that if you're getting a high score here, does getting your concepts clear, getting your hands-on done before you actually and the don'ts. And also I wanted to talk about learning plan. Okay, topics that are mentioned over here, you have a very clear, you can blindly go through this learning plan. Okay, so when I'm saying blindly, you can literally mean that I literally mean that blindly, because you need to know every piece of information is covered. And if you think that if you still want to learn more about it, what I will suggest is go through the documentation. So let's do data manipulation. If you still feel some part of it is missing, go through the documentation, but first go through these all courses. All of these courses are very important. And also if you see here, there is every module of it has some give you some solution. If you cannot really do it, if you don't have that much time, take the solution at least. You can download it as is there inside that particular workflow, how it actually navigates from one state to another state and how it actually works. You can just course has a knowledge check. You all know about it. If you have gone through that, go through all the questions and try to check your knowledge after finishing. And apart from this thing, you also should have at least some idea of the topics covered in automation developer learning plan for associate, right? In associate also you have synchronization, descriptors, selectors, and all of that. So what I learn topics. So these are the things that you should do before you actually too much for you. If you are thinking that this is a lot of things that I have to learn or grab information from, so now learning and how I have actually utilize my learning path and utilize the concepts to the fullest. So the first thing that I have kept in my mind was, so when I have gone through this particular exam description, I have seen all these topics are there. So your working experience, so you don't feel all these topics as very new to you, because every day to day we will be encountering or we will be associating ourselves with these topics. Do not work very often, right? So if I have to pin them out, in advanced UI automation, there is remote runtime that also needs some installation, and Citrix, which is CV, computer vision, right? So much of it. Okay. So first things, I have prepared two lists. Okay. So the first list consists of all the topics I engage myself on day to day. Okay. And second thing is that I am not a second list, but again, it doesn't mean that when we already have RE framework and everything. If we have some question, we'll just go through and we will check it out. Remember the things, right? If they ask a question, we should have the things. Actually, what happened, I'll just share one of the incident that happened with first topic that I have picked as part of my preparation was state missions, okay, from so long. So I felt this is not a big deal for me. So I just went through the state missions topic in Academy, randomly was going through some questions, and every answer seems to be right. I was not able to make a judgment that which answer is wrong. Okay. So that's in where I thought like, like I could able to do this only if I had on my fingertips. I'm just giving an example of state mission, whether it can be RE framework or whether it can be orchestrator, whether it can be triggers, monitors, whatever it. We will have everything on our system. We will see and then we will make a judgment. But when it comes to examination, it should be here. We will know requirements, right? So everything should be here. So that is a trick. So when I realized it, what is when I'm starting, I decided that I'm going to start my exam on so and so date. I have my exam on so and so date. Station time alongside my full time. So what I realized is I'm going through state mission in studio. Okay. So I'm opening this particular, I have made my preparation. So I'll go through this particular course. I think it may ask me for login. Let me check. Your way of preparation is remembrance is the key, right? When is there in your head, you will be confident. So that's in where I actually spent a lot of time in preparation. And yes, so if you see here, workflow design or understanding concept is there, 25 minutes is there, right? And there's some videos will also be there, right? So how I lot of projects in RE framework, but the thing is, if they ask me a question, I should be confident through this particular video or this particular course. So I have actually taken some notes like this. So there's a transition section. I want to have this particular key points. So what I have done, I just copied this thing. Okay, I just copied this whole thing. When I'm studying itself, I have maintained one note for all the topics. So if you see here, I have one note for different topics. Is debugging, right? PDF, link, orchestrator, advanced, Q. What all the points that I should remember. Okay, so similar, and I just highlighted what all the things that I should remember. Okay, entry section, this particular activities or perform, right? Highlight them. This all, not all the points, not all, every point is important. Every point is important. What are the points that you think that are important for your mission? We all know there are 4 different states, how the state transitions happen, state to another state, that everything is not needed, right? If you really have you don't do every of it, right? Like triggers, you don't, right? So how this actually happens and all of that, you don't know, right? So I have actually copied, okay, and I have highlighted them, whatever I felt it's really important, one point that is new for me or something that I'm learning new today. So those points I have taken and I've kept it in my OneNote. So that is the first thing. There is a video. So some things have a video, and also I will talk about. So in this video, how you will actually pick the data. So what I have done is, in the video, when I'm listening to the video, in middle, if I see some point that I felt that is useful for me, maybe for my revision, or I felt it's new point similar to what I've said before, right? So I'll go to video transcript. In the video transcript, what is that particular point, I'll just pick that point and then I'll put it in my OneNote. I'll highlight it there. So what happens the next time, if you see this particular course, this course will be for 1 hour 30 minutes. So the next time when you go to this particular course, you don't have to go through 1 hour 30 minutes. You will just go through what is there. So that is one point. And also the other point is, after every course, there will be knowledge check, right? Check your knowledge. So there, if I feel any of the question, I felt like, okay, I'm not confident with this particular question, or I'm seeing this question for the first time, or I feel this question seems interesting, then I copy that question, also put it over there, because I can't come to studio every single time, because it takes a lot of time to read through each and everything. So first time preparation, even though if I'm taking it for longer period of time, I'll keep it completely 100%. I'll utilize it to the 100% and I will take the notes of it. So that is the first thing that I followed. And if they give you some practice, okay, so if you see here in the academy, we have some practice, okay, practices they have asked you to do. If at all you don't have time to do the practice, at least download that particular XAML and see how it's processing. That is one more thing that I have done. And this is related to the topics that you are familiar with. So like RE framework, orchestrator, studio, these are the topics that you are more familiar with. But with the topics that you are less familiar with, like remote debugging, let's understand that you didn't get an opportunity to work in remote debugging. So how do you actually work on those kind of things? Let's say you don't have, right now also you don't have certain, environment or the prerequisites to perform that operation. So how do you do that? So the first thing that I would suggest is, in the course itself, You will have the videos how you can do that. First thing, you watch them end to end and don't leave the documentation. Besides the course, you also watch the document. If you don't know something, you have to get the fullest out of it, right? So if you ask me, if I go to remote debugging, right? If I go to remote debugging, so if you see here I have marked every single point, right? Whatever is needed, whatever that particular remote debugging concept, I have made a note of every small thing, right? So this is very, very important. And also go through the documentation for 22.10. That is one other point. And also I wanted to mention you some of the references for some topics. I will also tell you which reference you can actually follow. So this is about remote debugging, computer vision, CV activities, remote runtime, some of the topics that you're not so familiar with your day-to-day projects automations. And if it comes to link query, one thing that I wanted to refer is, so if at all you're already on my channel, if you know about the concepts that I have taught on my channel, you can see link queries on my channel. So I will just quickly show you. So I have a complete playlist on link queries. I mean, like, if you have time, you can just practice it. But at any cost, if you don't have time for practicing, what I would recommend you is just go to this particular playlist. Okay. And what you can do is, so if you see here, there are a lot of playlists actually, on a lot of videos under this particular playlist. So if you see where query, how to get the matched values, not matched values, select query, group by. So every small query is very important, because you never know how the questions would come, how they will ask you, how they will trick you, and all of that, right? So if you don't have time to practice all of that, what I would suggest is at least know how this link query works, how the functionality is. And then if you go to the description, right? If you go to the description of the video, let me show you this. So at least try to watch the video, how you can utilize the link query, because I've explained everything in practical. But at any cost, if you don't have that much time, what I would recommend is, below every video, okay, so below all these particular videos, what I will suggest is, there is something called as the query. Okay, I have given the query for all the particular method. So you have where query, you have select query, you have group by. So if you see here group by, just try to copy them and understand how this query actually works. So if you see here, I have my where query. Let me just copy that over here. Okay. So if you see, this is a where query, how where query actually works, how this actually be utilized actually. So this will give you a lot of understanding inside where. If you see, I have used select query, right? How you can select certain rows where the condition matches. So this will give you an understanding of how to utilize multiple methods inside a single integrated query. So this will give you good understanding of how to utilize the link queries, right? So this is what you can learn. So all these videos, there are actually a lot of videos: select, group by multiple, sum, and link query, how you can face the errors in the link query, and how you can fix those errors. So these are having good to know information. So if you see, I think more or less all these videos will not take you 1 to 2 hours. So you can spend good amount of time to get complete knowledge of how the link query works, and how you can utilize them, how you can learn this particular concept. Okay, so this is one thing that I wanted to refer with respect to link query. And one more thing is how to do the installation of remote debugging. I told you, right? So I've actually researched that Rakesh channel. Let me show you. So I have referred, I've actually researched this playlist, which is actually very good for remote debugging, because he have actually explained remote debugging. Yes. So remote debugging, remote runtime. So this with respect to setup and demo, everything, I felt like from my experience, I felt you have explained it with more details and clearly. So maybe you can refer to this particular channel when it comes to remote debugging and remote runtime, right? All these concepts. So this will give you an enough understanding, because setting up and everything, we need the environment and we need all the prerequisites, right? So maybe you can refer to this particular channel, which will give you a clear understanding of what you should know and how you should do this particular setup. So this is one thing that I wanted to highlight. And apart from that, so these are the things that I feel like, uh when and also one more thing that I wanted to highlight is, I have actually dedicated 1-2 hours a day for preparation. After my office or before my office, I used to dedicate 1-2 hours specifically to read about these topics, because without preparation, no one can actually go directly to the exam. So that is one more important thing that I wanted to refer you and suggest you. And after this, like let's say today I have learned about remote debugging, and tomorrow when I'm going to start computer vision, which is a new topic, then what I would used to do is, I used to I used to go through what I have actually learned in yesterday. Okay, one quick glance or one quick revision that I used to do. So that really helped me to stay intact with the concepts. Because otherwise, what used to happen, that used to flush off my brain. Because these topics are something every day we are learning, right? So you cannot keep feeding your brain with a lot of stuff, a lot of information. So you need to keep refreshing it, keep revising it, so that will help you. So when you come on day third or day fourth, still the day one topic will be there in your head, right? So that will help you to some extent. And so that, by the time you go appear your exam. And also one free tip that I wanted to provide you is, start with the topics that you don't know or you haven't done. So let's say if I'm going ahead, then first I'll start with advanced UI automation, because by the time I go to my exam, if there are 7 days, I would have revised the topic 7 times, right? Because if I'm starting on the day one, so I'll revise it from the day two. By the time I appear my exam, I'll be very much confident with the topic that I don't know. Correct? So that will give you so much confidence. And if you see the question on the screen, you will have that instant confidence that you can, yeah, I know this already, right? Instead of having the jerk, you will have that confidence. Okay. So this is about my learning plan, my learning path, how I have done my preparation, and how I have actually cleared the exam. Okay, so apart from that, I also wanted to talk about something which I wanted to include here, so it will help others to perform better. So after my examination, what I have actually thought was, let me stop sharing, because I think I've I've shared in a from the screen, so maybe I can stop sharing and okay. So after my preparation or my after my exam, the experience I wanted to share is, if at all you're going through the courses in academy and the documentation, that will definitely help you. And also, mm, one thing is, we have enough time. Okay, so 120 minutes we have for 60 questions, right? So there is enough time. There is no rush. You can revise, you can revisit your questions. You can clearly read what the question meant. Because when what happened with me is, I overlooked one to two questions. I've overlooked actually. When I'm reading the question, I was like, okay, I know this. I was in that state of mind for 1-2 questions, because I was so overconfident with that particular concept. But what actually helped me was, I have actually reviewed all the questions once, because I had a lot of time. I don't want to, quickly run for results. So this is one thing that I wanted to tell. Don't rush for your result, because if you click finish, that's it. You have to take the result whatever it is. But before to that finish line, you have 120 minutes, right? So clearly review all the questions which you have doubt, at least 1% doubt. Review it, thoroughly review it. So when I was going through two questions, I have actually overlooked two questions and I've kept some wrong answer. But when I'm reviewing, I myself realize that this is wrong answer, because I have read the question multiple times when I'm reviewing, and then I have rechecked it, and then I was like, okay, this is something I have missed or I have overlooked. So first thing that I would suggest you is, you will have lot of time. You take every single second seriously, and you work on the question. You read the question thoroughly. You read each and every option. Okay, you read each and every option. Try to see which answer is right and which answer is wrong. Okay, because if there will be some kind of questions which might be tricky for you if you're not confident with the concept. So you should be, if you're confident, you should be able to know why that option is correct and why this option is wrong. Okay, so for that you have to be very good, or you have to be practical while you are practicing itself and while you're learning itself. So I don't, this doesn't mean to say that the exam is hard, but it's not easy if you don't prepare. That's what I actually mean to say. So if you keep your efforts, if you prepare well, the exam will be according to that, right? So I'm not able to recall, there's a famous quote, uh, it never gets easy, but you just get better. I think I said it right. Yeah. So there is nothing like easy or tough. It depends on how you are preparing for your exam. So if your preparation is good, if you are giving 100%, if you're trying, trying to prepare notes, and the last day should be for revising. So if you see here, let me share my screen again. I'll show you. So if you see here, here is my notes, right? So if you see, I have notes for every topic. Every single topic I have prepared notes, right? Right, I have prepared notes for every small topic, every single topic. Even though I felt like it's something easy also, I prepared the topic, because if it's an easy topic, I don't want to take risk. I wanted to get 100% on the topic, right? So every small topic I have prepared notes. So if you see here, test suite, testing, every small topic, right? So the last day should be used for your preparation, for your revision. Okay, so go through everything that you have prepared till that day, till your exam day. So utilize that particular time for revision. Okay, so yeah, the last topic that I wanted to talk about is, have presence of mind in your exam. Don't rush and don't overlook your questions. Give 100%. If at all you're not confident, mark them as, mark them for review. I actually marked few questions for review, but before I actually checked the reviewed questions, I have checked all the questions first, because maybe how I have overlooked, I was not sure. So because of that review, I have actually saved two questions, which is close to 3 to 4%, right, which is important. So review, I have reviewed all the questions, and after that also I have reviewed the questions I have marked for review. So this way, I think I have maybe got some 5 to 6% more. So every percent is important, right? So try to put up your effort, be, have that presence of mind, utilize every single minute, don't rush, don't worry about the end result. Try to read the questions thoroughly, read options also thoroughly, and yeah, I think that's pretty much I wanted to cover in this particular video. And if at all you have some suggestions, or if you want to hear more, or if you think that I've missed any of the topic that you wanted to hear on preparation guidelines for UiPath Automation Developer Professional Certification, excuse me, please do let me know in the comments. I hope you found this video useful. I have actually took some time to gather all the information. So that's where I have taken maybe 2 3 days late. I mean, delayed this video. So if you think I have to add any other suggestions or the points that you are looking forward for, please do let me know in the comments. As per me, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to deliver to you. So yeah, I hope this information is useful. And if at all you wanted to hear anything, please do let me know. Thank you so much for watching. All the best for your exam. Bye.